We don't need it to be exact or perfect or anything. We just need it to exist. Hey guys, it's me, Stephanie Harford. Welcome to a new video. This is the aftermath of the project that I'm going to be working on. So here I am doing the intro, and I just wanted to say I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you didn't see last week I was talking about how I would go about patterning this particular dress that I'll be working on today, but I'm really excited to share with you guys. I decided that I wanted to copy a Wild Rose Sparrow dress. If you don't know who they are, you should definitely check them out. They have such beautiful designs and just such whimsical dresses. Really love it. It gives a total princess vibe slash just beautiful vibe, okay? Today's video I am going to be finally creating this Wild Rose Sparrow dress dupe. I started the dress out with the lining fabric. I got it at Goodwill and it was $7.49 for I'm not sure how many yards, but it actually came with a decent amount of yards. And it's just perfect for the project. It was the perfect color. I already talked about these particular curtains last week, but yeah, I had to take it out of the package. Anyway, the curtains and the lining fabric that I had on hand happened to be a pretty good match. So I also included some muslin fabric. You can kind of see that I inserted it in there. And then I cut out all the pieces that needed to have these bodice pattern pieces that I worked on last week. I forgot to do 2 layers of the lining, one to like line the actual dress and then one to go behind the sheer fabric. So later on I had to cut another set of them. And since the back piece of the dress was on a fold, I had to do that separately because I needed to fold the fabric. I don't know why I made the pattern piece on a fold. I then ironed the interfacing to 1 layer of the satin-like fabric that I was using. This is the layer that would go behind the sheer fabric. I then cut about 4 strips of the sheer fabric, about 3.5 to 4 inches, and these were going to be used for the straps. I ironed them so that they would be folded over. That way it can make it easier for me to sew the pieces together. That way I can flip it inside out and then get the straps. I was all over the place with where and when I sewed the pieces, so I ended up going back to the bodice pieces and I was going to base stitch the sheer fabric to the interfaced red lining fabric. And so as you can see here, I'm basting it on, and there you go. I had all the pieces ready to go, as well as the other layers for all the bodice pieces. After that, I assembled the interfaced that is base stitched with the sheer. That's basically the outer layer, and I sewed them all together, as you can see here. At this point, I was sewing the side piece, but I only needed to sew it on one side because the other side was going to have the zipper. And then after I did that, I top stitched so that I can create boning channels straight to the outer bodice piece using the seams as the boning channels. I also already put the straps on the front part, so I was also attaching them to the back. I just base stitched it like about 1/4 inch down, and then later when I put the lining on, it would then be another stitch across with the lining layer to like sandwich them in. I think it worked out great that way. With the zipper, I made notches so I knew how to line it up on both sides of the bodice, and then I sewed that on. And I probably could have done this later when I attached the skirt, but for some reason I decided to just do it right then and there, and later on I attached the skirt in a weird way, which I'm not even going to explain. I've been sitting with this skirt last week when I was making a video. I mentioned for the pattern of how I would do the skirt, which would be a circle skirt plus a ruffle. I can tell in the picture of their dress that it's not exactly that way. There's a chance that they either have a rectangle skirt that's gathered with a flounce on the bottom or a circle skirt with the flounce. Either way it's gathered, I know that. I did the math. If I were to do a rectangle with the same circumference as the lining skirt, which I already cut back here, it would be 2 rectangles front and back, 74.6 inches long. Now that I think about it, each panel is 84 inches. That would be enough. to just do 2 rectangles. Anyway, I was hesitant about the 2 rectangles though, because it would work. One panel would give me the entire skirt, one curtain panel. I still have some left from the first one that I cut that I used for the bodice, and then I have a whole 84-inch one, and then I have a 63-inch panel. The bottom part, it looks like they have a flounce connected to the skirt. I wanted to do a gathered ruffle. I think I might do that, but I've literally just been sitting with this like, what the heck do I do? Do I just stick with my plan even though it's different than what appears to be what they did? I know I'm not, obviously I can't do exactly what they do without knowing their pattern or anything like that. And really it's just to do a dress as close as I can, but I'm a perfectionist and all I can think about is like, how did they do it? I need to know. But I don't need to know. I just need to just make this and just stop being so yeah about it. I think that means I'm gonna do potentially the rectangle skirt. Definitely would be easier. I'm nervous because I'm like, what if I just regret it and I only have one shot and I have to get this done? Ideally tonight, because it's Thursday and I need time to edit this video. Normally I edit on Thursdays, but this week's video I decided is going to be on Saturday morning. So if you're watching this on a Saturday morning, hello, this is me in the past. Anyway, I'll figure it out. That's the dilemma. Let's go.
So I chose to do the rectangle idea because I feel like that's what they did, but who knows. It was easier anyway to cut out, and then I cut the flounce just like this. So it's just basically like a bottom of a skirt or a bottom of a circle. And then after I actually marked out the slit part that I kind of guesstimated how it's done. Here you can see I attached the flounce to the outer part of the skirt because this would be the outside layer. The skirt ultimately would have 3 layers. I ended up doing French seams for all of the seams that the skirt had, and I feel like that was what they did, but also like that's the prettier thing to do with sheer fabric. Off camera I included the muslin on the lining fabric so that I would be a little bit thicker and a little bit more structure, because the red fabric is like really thin and super flowy, so it's like beautiful to use for a skirt and all, but it's really flimsy for the top, so I wanted to make sure it had enough structure so that it was nice and thick since it would be corseted. I then cut out some strips so that I could make the string on the back, like the lace up part, and I just cut 2 very long rectangles and then I sewed them together. I also did like a diagonal seam to attach the 2 pieces together, and then I cut off the little excess and loop turned the whole thing, and I was really surprised I could fit it on my loop turner. It barely fit, but I was able to do it, so that's all that matters. Also, if you hear noises like clicking in the background, it's because my husband's playing games right next to me and I can't get him to like pause for my voiceover, so it is what it is. We are both up at 12 a.m. so So as you can see, I brought out the twill tape, I believe that's what it's called, and I wanted to use that to go on the seam with the loops. Right here I'm looking to see how many loops they did and like what they looked like, and then I marked out, there were 5 of them, so I marked out where each loop would go so they're evenly spaced, and then I put markings but also pins to mark the place so they match up, which is super important because you want them to be lined up, otherwise it would look really wonky. As you can see, I was about to place that twill tape down, but first I wanted to get the fabric for the back. I didn't mention this, but I didn't interface the back panel because I wanted it to be not structured at all, so that if you do tie it in the back, it's loose enough to be gathered if the fabric like gathers up a bit from tightening the lace up. After I attached the twill tape on there, I then top stitched on the back, which created another boning channel so that I was able to stick boning on that side piece so that it was really structured and would, hold up with the lace up in the back. I then attached the lining to the bodice, and I always like this part because I'm able to see the neckline come together. When I was sewing it on, I also wanted it to line up better with the straps, so I kind of changed the curve just a tad at this point. Can't really tell in the video, but it's a little bit curvier and a little bit extra. And then I attached the zipper to the lining. That way it looks really nice when you flip it out. And then I clipped all of the curves so that it flips over and lays really nicely. And then I got rid of like some of the bolt corners and stuff like that. It looks pretty crazy on this side. I then was like, okay, time to lace this up to see what it looks like, because I was super impatient, and I think it looked really good. You can see the top stitches along the side, and that's where I would stick the boning.
Okay, we have the bodice. I mean, it doesn't have the boning. It's still open on bottom. It only has boning here. I gotta put it on the side and on the back. I feel like because it's the end of the day, aka it's freaking 4:45 a.m. I'm about to go to bed. I needed to finish tonight, but I'm gonna have to drag this to tomorrow and hope that I can finish the dress and edit the video all in one day. Worst comes to worst, this video comes out late. I have no idea, but look at the bodice. I'm so glad that it's finally almost there. I just have to understitch the lining so that it doesn't fold over. But I mean, it's a little hard because I feel like I can't figure out what size. I will literally pattern test it and then just suddenly like bloat or gain weight. I can barely get it to zip. Here's the zipper. See, it's ready for the skirt. I mean, look at this. Like, I know I ate a lot, but still, it's super frustrating. I'll put something on, like, oh my gosh, it's so tight. But it's fine. This is supposed to be tight. It's just, I didn't think it'd be this tight. I didn't even need to tighten the string. It's just, yeah, I didn't even need to tighten that at all. But it's fine. It's whatever. The skirt, I technically have it right here. It's not gathered. And I have to do a second layer because I forgot. So I'm gonna have to open up the last panel of curtains. I was kind of hoping that I didn't need to, but the way that I cut all the pieces, I just didn't think it through. So I kept thinking, oh, I'm done. And then I'll just like, oh, I'll just cut this. And then it's like, I could have done two things on one panel, but I just thought it was the last thing. And anyway, now there's no room to make a second layer of the sheer fabric, but that's fine. Also, I got the little slit part on the wrong side. It's not that it's the wrong side. I just plan on having it on my left leg, and now it's gonna be on my right leg. Here it is. This is what it looks like, not gathered. It just, you know, goes like that. I don't know. That's what it looks like that they did, so hopefully it looks okay. I need a rectangle soon. You'll see the skirt. This is a horrible example. I'm delusional. I literally, like, I have random moments where my ears are ringing out of nowhere, and I'm like, I tend to get like high blood pressure, and I was just like, oh my gosh, is it my blood pressure? Like, did I eat too bad today? Like, is it because I had like sugar? And anyway, I go into panic mode, but it's fine. This is the bodice. We're almost there. I can barely breathe in this thing. I'm having heart palpitations. I really want to shower and go to bed. It's almost 5 a.m. I thought that I could potentially finish, but no way. No way. And I will just have to hope and pray I can finish this tomorrow. I'm so close though, because literally I've got the lining skirt and I've got the outer skirt. All I have to do is create a circle skirt, put it underneath, and then gather this one and let it be poofy. I will just do a regular circle skirt with the sheer fabric. It won't be gathered because I don't got time for that. I mean, maybe. I don't think I should do that. I'll sleep on it, but we don't need it to be exact or perfect or anything. We just need it to exist. The only thing is like the crease that's happening here, but that's okay. It's gonna happen, you know, because there's curves to consider. The only thing that bothers me is that I think the curve is too curvy here for some reason. I don't know. Yeah, so now it's kind of wonky. That's okay. It is what it is. If I were to do it again, I would lessen that curve there, so it'd be flatter, but I allowed it to be, I don't know, curvy. It's fine. It's gonna be that way. It's just kind of looking funny now, isn't it? that's gonna bother me. Okay, I'm not gonna think about it. I'm gonna go to bed.
The dress was taking me way longer than I anticipated, but eventually we got to this point. Right here, I am lining up the curve slit part so that I can get the lining fabric to match up to it. I don't know, I'm kind of winging it at this point. You know, it is what it is. Somehow I got it to work. I then wanted to make that circle skirt that would go underneath to add a little bit more volume. I did not have time to iron or put this in the dryer, so I let the curtain just be super wrinkly. And then when I cut it, I realized I cut the skirt too short. I don't know how that happened. I thought I measured it. It ended up working out fine, but still, I thought it'd be longer. Also, it took me forever to cut that skirt. I just showed it in real time so you could see. Right here, I'm trying to mimic that little mark out I did on the lining to the same circle skirt. I ended up gathering that second circle skirt by making it like 2 times or 1.5 or something. Anyway, I French seamed the skirt pieces together here just like I did earlier with the outer piece. Again, I'm all over the place. I'm jumping from bodice to skirt to you name it. I'm just whatever I felt like doing. It is how it is. That's just how I roll. After French seaming the lining fabric for the skirt, I also French seamed the sheer circle skirt as well. I wanted to make sure they both were beautifully sewn together. I then applied some gathering stitches. As you can see here, I put it in a bright green color so I could tell where they're at, and I applied 2 of those stitches along basically both of the sheer fabric for the skirt so that both of them are gathered. I also paused, randomly did a French seam, and then went back to it because I forgot to attach the 2 pieces together apparently. And then I did the top stitch, not top stitch, the gathering stitch. And then the bobbin thread ran out, so I had to replace that, and then I got back to work. I then attached the gathered skirts, the circle skirt and then the outer skirt, put those suckers on there, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm almost done. I just have to attach this to the bodice. I was pretty excited at this point, but I also was exhausted.
I'm almost done. I'm extra haggard today. Like, I just gotta get this done. Okay, I totally forgot I have to put the boning in the bodice, and I was about to connect this giant bundle of disaster over here. So yeah, I'm trying to connect the skirt to the bodice, but I need to insert some boning into a couple of the channels because I only put 2 channels have boning in it. And then it's the moment we all love, right? Connecting the skirt to the bodice. Once that's connected and the boning is in, I finally can hem it, and then it's literally done. My brain says that I'm wrong. I have to hem 3 layers. 3, I can't even do my fingers. 3 layers of skirt. But that should go by actually fairly quickly, to be honest. It's happening. Okay, let's do this. Okay, the boning is in. I did that off camera, but all the parts that need it are in. So now we attach the skirt. The skirt is so heavy. It's frustrating. Part of me is like, no, we're not there yet. We got like 50 things left to do, and the other part's like, no, this is it. This is gonna be it. If it's not it, it's gonna be it. I've literally been so distracted. It's not that it took a long time, it's just I keep thinking, oh, maybe I should do this, maybe I should do that. Like, the actual sewing portion wasn't that bad, but trying to figure out what I'm gonna do for each little piece, and then getting distracted because I've been thinking about making bags, and I'm like, why am I getting distracted about bag making? Anyway, I'm gonna continue this and then sew it together. I sewed it together. I'm so excited. It's looking good so far. Now I just gotta take the gathering stitches out. So I think I'm just gonna like go from random spot. No, maybe I'll go from the inside. It's kind of complicated, but if you lift the lining layer, you can see all the little stitches in here that we don't need. I made them yellow and green and purple and whatever ugly color I could find. Not that the colors are ugly, I mean like just like it doesn't match with any of this. Okay, I'm finally to a point where I can hem it, and I'm so excited about this. I need my hem clips. I think this is, yeah, a really small one. I'm gonna see if I can use that for the bottom of the outer one. I need to test it first. And what do you know? We got scrap fabrics lying around, living their best lives. So I'm gonna test that, and then hopefully we can just hem it and all is well.